Hey everyone, it's Amy and welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to say thank you so much for continually checking in. I know some of you are just hearing about my health journey and my diagnosis with VHL, von Lippel-Hindau syndrome, and the cancers that go along with it. So if you're just hearing about this stuff now, surprise! And there's 2 other videos that will go into more detail about the disease and what happened and what transpired. I was trying to think back as to when I actually found out that I was originally diagnosed, and it was, oh my gosh, after the most amazing opportunity to go to the Pink concert with my friend Lori in Dallas. And when we came back from that, it was a couple days later that I found out that I had VHL. So it was in November that we started doing all of this kind of preliminary digging, and now it's January, or at the end of January, and there's been so many tests and so much information and such a roller coaster ride. And some of you know that my surgery is scheduled at the University of Miami with the most amazing surgeons, currently scheduled for February 6th. So Rick and I will head over to Miami on the 5th to get ourselves settled in. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of you that have been reaching out and giving me your good wishes and emails and texts and DMs and everything. I've heard the most amazing stories from some of you. And you know, I was so hesitant to share this because it's so personal, but at the same time, it's needs to be universally talked about. So many of us get really hesitant when something's going on and we don't want to share. And then there's other people who are just really happy to share all the minutia that happens in life. And I'm not always one of those people. So it was kind of hard to share this information. And I'm really, it's such a weird word, but I'm happy that I did. I've had a few of you get in touch with me and say that because of me sharing this information, you've gone for your own medical tests that you weren't going to go to, and have been given information either in a positive way of nothing's going on and everything's okay, or that something else has been discovered and you need to go for further testing. And some of you have reached out to me and actually said that it's because of my story you went to your doctor. And you know what, I salute you for that, because so many people want to sweep things under the rug and ignore them. And remember, if you're paying attention, you know your body better than anybody else does, and you have to be your own health advocate. It's so important, because if you don't do it, there's nobody who's going to do it for you. And so congratulations to those of you who took it upon yourselves to listen to my story and then take action because something else was going on that you weren't quite sure of. And yeah, just I'm proud of you for that, because you know, we're all in the space of, you know, surprises happen, and information is so helpful for all of us, and knowledge is power. And just remember that. I mean, knowledge is power, and don't always rely on what other people are saying. Really do your homework and make sure you're actually getting the knowledge. I'm getting so many questions on a regular basis from what am I eating, what supplements do I take to help combat all of the ailments that most people feel during this time, am I sleeping, how am I, all that kind of stuff. But the one that I get the most is how am I, how are you doing? And it doesn't matter whether it's the medical professionals that are calling me about appointments and then asking afterwards, so how are you? Or if it's all of you. And I guess the statement is, I'm pretty okay. You know, I have a business to run with Rick, and we have an amazing staff and unbelievable clients. And between Pilates and the nutrition coaching and all the back end of running a business and it being year end and having to do all of that stuff, I'm busy. Pilates teacher training, like there's 4 million categories that I'm still running the show on or helping to run the show on a daily basis. So I'm busy, and I'm not treating this any differently. And it's just another thing to deal with. Everybody processes information differently, right? So in the beginning, I felt like, oh, I needed to journal every 5 minutes and do what I call the download dump. And I haven't been doing that quite as much. I think I've been using these videos a little bit as my kind of diary in some ways, or my journal, we'll say. And I have been journaling, but not as much as I thought I would at this point. I've been asked, am I on the message boards, and have I reached out to support groups? I haven't. I mean, I've gone on the message boards and I've looked at the support groups, but at this point, and I can't say forever, and I can't say this will be the same after my surgery, and I can't say that this will always be the case, but right now I'm pretty okay. I know what I have. I know what we're dealing with. I know who my surgeons are. I know where I'm going. I've had the conversations with my surgeons, nurses, and the hospital to make sure I have my private room and that I can bring my pillows and, all the stuff that I want to bring with me. I've been told that I won't have food restrictions outside of how I usually do things. So the things that I need to get answers to make me feel more settled. And like all of us, we all have things that we want to have in our surroundings that make us feel better. So that's good. But I'm okay right now. I'm nervous. I've never stayed in a hospital before. I can't say I'm looking forward to it at all. Not even a little teeny bit. This is not a vacation, even though I keep calling it my hotel room. And they give activities that I can do while I'm in the hospital. They told me that if all goes well, that I'll be up and walking around the next day, and I'll be allowed to walk as much as tolerable. So you can bet I'm gonna be putting my watch on and get my steps going, assuming I'm allowed to and everything works out the way it's supposed to. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay right now. I'm not happy about any of this by any means, but if you know me, you know that I don't wallow in self-pity. And, yes, I'm probably a bit of a control freak. Okay, so stop laughing, those of you who know me really well. And slightly type A personality. Yeah, I know. And you can only control what you can control, right? And one of the things that I work hard at, I don't know if I really work hard at it, it's just kind of part of me is my mental state and my mental well-being. I've always taken time for my massages twice a month, which helps relax my body and my brain. I always take time in the morning where I'm not checking in with anything and it's just quiet time. I read as much as I can on the weekends, something that outside of my field or scope of practice. I try to anyway. I do journal, not nearly as much as I did in my 20s and 30s, but I do jot things down now and again, especially if I'm listening to a podcast or reading a book that gets my mind going. I do my gratitude work, I do my meditation work, so I do a lot of things already to help my overall mental well-being. But I'm no different than any of you. I mean, I stress out about all kinds of things, especially when you have a business. And there's a product I take called Stress Relief from USANA that is a game changer for me, and I'll talk about that another time. But if you have stresses in your life and you're looking for something that can kind of mildly ease things out a little bit, that is a game changer, and I highly recommend it. So anyway, but how am I? I think I'm pretty okay. There are moments when I do cry. I'm not gonna lie. There's not as many of them, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere. And I'm really lucky at this point. That's such a silly, weird, bizarre statement, but the cancers that I have are related to this disease. So I did get this past week my genetic testing back, and I gave them the permission to test me. I didn't realize it was 76 kind of variations of cancer they tested me for. So I've tested negative for everything, including colon cancer gene, which is amazing because my father's father had colon cancer and my mother's mother had colon cancer. I tested negative for the BRCA gene, which is amazing because my father's mother had breast cancer. I've tested negative for leukemia kinds of genes, which is unbelievable because my cousin who I adored more than anything, Jason, passed away from AML leukemia. And so all of those kinds of things I have tested negative for. So for me, all of my cancer stuff is related to the VHL. So the renal cell carcinoma, currently the endocrine tumor. So right now, that's all I'm focused on, that's all I'm dealing with is this disease of von Lippo-Hindau's and the VHL. So I am so grateful for all of that. I'm waiting still for a little bit more information of what's going on with the spot on my chest. And I did have a complete MRI of my spine last week, and like I said in the other video, that was just no fun. But I'm going under the assumption of how quickly they got back to me when something was really wrong. In as much as I'm not hearing or having a follow-up telehealth appointment with my surgeon until next week, I'm going under the assumption that the information they found on there is not anything. Otherwise, I'm guessing that I would have had a phone call pretty quickly like I did in the past. So I think we're on the right track. I know we're on the right track with where I'm going for the surgery, the people that I'm surrounded by, all of you sending your positive thoughts and wishes and support and love and cards and DMs and texts and all of that kind of stuff. Just know how grateful I am for all of that, and that it really does mean a lot. I apologize if I haven't gotten back to each and every one of you, but sometimes it gets a little overwhelming working all day long and getting all these messages and trying to get back to everybody as soon as possible. So I figure I'm answering all of your questions this way, and I will do my best to get back to you, because it really does mean a lot that you're taking the time to get to me. So yeah, so I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing okay. So I appreciate the reaching out. And like I said, every day is different. There are emotional days. There are days when I'm tired. There are days when I'm a little overstressed. But that happens to all of us, no matter what's going on in your life and in your body. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself. You know, use my story to educate yourself in your own world, your own life, your own body. Use my mistakes so you can go make other ones and don't make these. Use my successes of what works for me. Maybe they'll work for you in terms of lifestyle or nutrition or supplementation or mindfulness or what have you. So I'm here to share what I can, but this is just my journey and my story, and we each have our own. So thank you so much for reaching out. It really does mean a lot. I promise in the next video I will share the information I have about what I'm using for supplements and foods to help reduce inflammation, help me sleep, help keep my body functioning as best it can, and all of that kind of stuff, because I know that you're all asking that stuff too. So I promise I will share, but today I just wanted to let you know that I'm doing okay. I can't speak for Rick, but he is doing okay as well. I know in some cases we're just looking to get the show on the road, but having this time has been really good for me to process everything, kind of take it all in, and kind of prepare. So I really appreciate all of you reaching out, and I promise I'll stay in touch. Peace.